Hello dear students of honors second year belonging to different departments of Dhaka College. This is Rajiv Roy. I am a lecturer of the Department of English at Dhaka College. I am here to conduct a lecture on correction suitable for the students of the departments of Dhaka College, those who have non-major English. Actually, you know that correction is an important segment of your syllabus, and in order to have a good knowledge or good working knowledge on correction, we need to have knowledge on different categories of grammar. Actually, I would like to focus on correction from different views, and I am going to start with rule number 1, and after learning about one rule, after learning one rule, we will start another. We will learn the rules and regulations of correction one by one, and if you want to have a good preparation or correction, I think it's better to note down the rules and regulations. It will be beneficial to you. Okay, so my dear students, let us start correction. I will show you a lot of rules and regulations of correction. The rules of corrections are not only important for your honors non-major English, it is also important for your competitive job exams. Okay, so my dear students of honors second year, those who are taking preparation for non-major English, and you know that you have 100 marks, and within the 100 marks you have 5 marks in correction, and this segment of grammar is really interesting to learn. Okay, so dear students, look at the board. I am going to start with rule number 1 of correction. Every time I will not show you the rule and regulation. Every time at first I will give you a piece of example, and after I have given you the example, you will have to try by yourselves, and then I will tell you the answer, and I will try to explain why the correction would be like this or that. So my dear students, at first the problem, then the solution. I will not give you the solution at first, I will give you the problem, and after your effort I will try my best to make you understand. Okay, rule number 1. At first the example, look at the board. I know where does he live. We could not understand who were they. These are the two examples. I have written on the board, and you are requested to rectify the mistakes in these two sentences. We are talking about rule number 1. This rule is really important. This rule is really important for you. Very often questions from this rule are given in your exam. Okay, and if you learn it effectively, I am sure you will be able to solve any kind of sentences regarding this rule. What should be the answer? Dear students, I know where does he live. We couldn't understand who were they. These are the two examples, and both the examples are incorrect in according to grammar. These are two incorrect English sentences. Why? Our question is why. Look at the first sentence. I know where does he live. This is an example of complex sentence. Dear students, this is an example of complex sentence, because in this sentence you have got one principal clause and one subordinate clause. The principal clause is I know and subordinate clause is where does he live, according to this sentence. The second example, we couldn't understand who were they. We couldn't understand, this is PC and this is SC. This is a PC, this is SC. My dear students of honors second year, look at the board. Here PC means principal clause, SC means subordinate clause. Here PC means principal clause, SC means subordinate clause. Okay. In this sentence, in these two sentences, we have got one principal clause and one subordinate clause. If you get one principal clause and one subordinate clause in a sentence, definitely you can say that this is an example of complex sentence. Okay. My question is, what type of sentence can be used? What type of sentence can be used in principal clause? And what type of sentences are allowed to be used in subordinate clause? This is our matter of discussion here. Look at the board. This is an example of principal clause, this is an example of subordinate clause. This is an example of principal clause, this is an example of subordinate clause. In a complex sentence, my dear students, in a complex sentence, principal clause can be used. Principal clause can be turned into assertive, interrogative, imperative, optative and exclamatory. That means these 5 types of sentences can be used in principal clause. In principal clause. Dear students, I am going to repeat. If you get complex sentence, and in complex sentence you will get one principal clause and one subordinate clause. In principal clause, all the sentences according to the classification of meaning, we know that there are 5 types of sentences according to meaning. They are assertive, interrogative, imperative, optative, exclamatory. These 5 sentences can be used in principal clause. These 5 sentences can be used in principal clause. But in subordinate clause, only assertive sentence can be used. Dear students, in subordinate clause, only assertive sentence can be used. So, we are not allowed to use interrogative, imperative, optative and exclamatory sentence in subordinate clause. Okay. So, principal clause, in principal clause we can use assertive, imperative, assertive, interrogative, imperative, optative and exclamatory sentences. But in subordinate clause, we are allowed to use only assertive sentence. Is it clear to you? So, in subordinate clause, you are not allowed to use any kind of sentence rather than assertive. Look at the board. I know where does he live. Here I have made a question. Here I have made a question. This is why these 2 sentences are grammatically incorrect. Another question for you. What type of punctuation mark we use? What type of punctuation mark we use at the end of a complex sentence must be determined by principal clause. That means at the end of a complex sentence we will use punctuation mark according to the sentence of principal clause. So at the end of complex sentence, the punctuation mark you are going to use should be determined by the sentence used in principal clause. If principal clause is in assertive sentence, you have to use full stop. If principal clause is in interrogative sentence, you have to use question mark. In principal clause is in imperative sentence, you have to use full stop. If a principal clause is in optative sentence, you have to use full stop. If principal clause is in exclamatory sentence, you have to use exclamation mark. So, the punctuation mark at the end of a complex sentence depends on the sentence of principal clause. If principal clause is in assertive, imperative and optative, you have to put full stop at the end of complex sentence. If you get Interrogative sentence in principal clause, you have to put question mark. And if you get exclamative sentence, you have to use exclamation mark. But subordinate clause only contains assertive sentence. This is why these two sentences are grammatically incorrect. Now, I'd like to rectify. I'd like to give you the correct option. Where does he live? You should write where he lives. I know where he lives. Is it clear to you? I know where he lives. This is the answer. What is the second one? We couldn't understand. Who were they or who they were? The answer would be who they were. Is it clear to you? So I have tried my level best to make you understand the first rule, and the first rule is, you can write down please. The first rule is no interrogative sentence can be used in subordinate clause. Okay, this is all about rule number 1, and for your benefit I'd like to give you another example. Okay, do you know when will the next train arrive? Do you know when will the next train arrive? What do you think? This is an example of a good correct English sentence or not? What do you think? Whether the sentence is correct or not? Try to determine, my dear students. Look at the board. Okay. Look at the board. Do you know? This is principal clause. When will the next train arrive? This is subordinate clause. Okay. In subordinate clause, definitely you will get a conjunction. But in principal clause, no conjunction is used. Okay. So, my dear students, let us calculate this sentence. Let us try to understand why the sentence is incorrect. Do you know? This is PC. When will the next train arrive? This is SC, means subordinate clause. I have told you that in principal clause you can use all the sentences. This is an interrogative sentence that we have used in principal clause, and this is why because of do you know, I have used question mark. Is it clear to you? I think it's clear to you. But in subordinate clause, dear students, in subordinate clause, no interrogative sentence can be used, but I have used interrogative here, and for this reason this sentence has been grammatically incorrect. And what should be the correct answer? What should be the correct answer? Write in the comment box, my dear students. What should be the correct answer? Do you know when will the next train arrive? One student has written, excellent, thank you. The answer should be, do you know when this will be here? Do you know when the next train will arrive? Clear to you? I think, I'm sure, and I hope that you have understood rule number 1. In subordinate clause, only assertive sentences can be used. This is all about rule number 1. So, my dear students, let us start with rule number 2. Those who have joined us making delay, I would like to tell you that we are talking about difference, rules and correction. I have only told you one rule. There are a lot of rules that I will give you in my 3 or 4 classes. This is my first class on correction. So, my dear student, let us start with rule number 2. Rule number 2 is related to conditional sentence. Rule number 2 is related to conditional sentence. In one of my classes of right forms of verb, I showed you the relationship between tenses, between two tenses, between different tenses, among different tenses of conditional sentence. That means in conditional sentence, you know that there are 3 rules: first condition, second condition, and third condition. You know that conditional sentences are of 3 types. There, first condition, second condition, and third condition. In first condition, you know 2 tenses are used: present indefinite and future indefinite. In second condition, another 2 tenses are used. They are past indefinite and past condition. And in third condition, another 2 tenses are used. They are past perfect and perfect conditional. Okay. So we have 3 rules and regulations. We have 3 kinds of conditional sentence. There, first condition, second condition, and third condition. In first condition, we need present indefinite and future indefinite. So what is the relationship in which tenses are used in first condition? Present indefinite and future indefinite. In second condition, past indefinite and past conditional. And in third conditional, past perfect and perfect conditional. Look at please. In first conditional, present indefinite and future indefinite. In second conditional, past indefinite and past conditional. And in third conditional, past perfect and perfect conditional. If we get an example, violating the use of these tenses, errors will occur in conditional sentence. If you violate the rule of using, a correct tense in conditional sentence, your sentence will be grammatically incorrect. And I am going to talk about correction related to conditional sentence. At first, I will give you some examples, and you are requested to try by yourselves. And after your effort, I will show you why the sentence is incorrect or why the sentence is correct. My dear students, look at the board. This is rule number 2, and we are talking about correction related to conditional sentence. If you took decision in time, you saved yourself. This is our first example, okay? Second example. Look at these 2 sentences. If you took decision in time, you saved yourself. Okay. The second one is, if I had a lot of time, I would have taken you to the library. These are our 2 examples, and try to determine whether the sentences are correct or not. My dear students, look at the board and try to rectify the mistakes. At first, try to understand whether there are any mistakes or not. If you get mistakes, try to rectify them. Okay. If you took decision in time, you saved yourself. Okay. The second one is, if I had a lot of time, I would have taken you to the library. What do you think? Whether there is mistake in the first sentence in terms of tense related to conditional sentence? What do you think? Okay. Look at. Here I have got the conjunction if, and if is an important conjunction of conditional sentence. Okay. If related clause contains what type of tense I have used in this one? I have used past indefinite tense. In conditional sentence, past indefinite tense is used in subordinate clause. Okay, this is subordinate clause. This is subordinate clause, and in this subordinate clause you have been given past indefinite tense, and past indefinite tense has a relationship with past conditional. Past conditional tense has a certain structure: subject, then auxiliary verb, would or could or might, then the base form of the verb. So I should use past conditional here. Past indefinite tense has a relationship with past conditional. So what should be the answer? The students, write in the comment box. What is your answer? I have used simple past tense here. Simple past tense cannot be used. Simple past tense cannot be used. I think I should use past conditional, and the answer should be you would, you could, you might. So if you took decision in time, you would, you could, you might save yourself. This is our first solution. Now let us talk about our second solution. Okay, if I had a lot of time, this is an example of, what do you think, my dear students? I have a question here. What type of sentence I have used in this subordinate clause? What do you think? This is an example of past indefinite tense or past perfect tense? What type of tense I have used in subordinate clause? Is this an example of past indefinite tense or past perfect tense? Try to understand what type of tense I have used in subordinate clause. Is it past indefinite or past perfect? What do you think? Is it past indefinite or past perfect? This is an example of past indefinite tense. This is an example of past indefinite tense. Why? Because if you get any had, and if you don't find any past participle form of the verb, look at this sentence. I haven't used any kind of past participle form of the verb after had. This is why this had is working as the past form of the verb. This is why this is an example of past indefinite tense. Okay, and if I use any past participle form after verb, after had, it will be past perfect. So what type of tenses have I used? Is it past indefinite or past perfect? This is past indefinite, and for past indefinite you have to use past conditional, and past conditional maintains the structure: subject, would, could, might, then the base form of the verb. So I should use I would. Definitely have should be omitted. I would take you to the library. Is it clear to you? I would take you to the library. Thank you. If you took decision in time, you could, you might, you would save yourself. If I had a lot of time, I would take, because past indefinite has a relationship with past condition. If I use here past perfect, if I use here past perfect tense, you need perfect conditional. Then the sentence would have been, I would have taken you, I might have taken you, I could have taken you. So I am going to repeat the three rules of conditional sentences. First conditional, you need two tenses, present indefinite and future indefinite. In second conditional, you need another two tenses, past indefinite and past conditional. In third conditional, you need another two tenses there, past perfect and perfect conditional. This is all about the rule related to correction on conditional sentence. Now I'd like to tell you something more about correction. Now we are talking about rule number 3 of correction, and this is about degree. Very often questions are given related to degree in correction part. Okay, so my dear students, I'm going to give you an example at first, and you are requested to try by yourself. Okay, she is taller than me. She is taller than me. She is taller than me. My dear students, you were requested to identify whether the sentence is correct or not. Whether the sentence is correct or not. She is taller than me. Whether the sentence is correct or not. Okay. If you know whether this sentence is correct or not, you are requested to answer in the comment box. If you think that the sentence is correct, you can write correct. If you think that the sentence is not correct, you are requested to rectify the mistakes. Okay. Okay, look at. This is an incorrect English sentence, my dear students. This is an incorrect English sentence. Okay. In order to make it correct, we need to look here. Is this the full sentence that I have written on the board? She is taller than me. She is taller than me. This is not the whole sentence. The sentence is she is taller than I am. Look at, my dear students. She is taller than I am. This is the full sentence. Okay. This is the full sentence. Look at. She is taller than I am. Actually, in formal English, we don't use the verb. In degree, we don't use the verb after this one. We omit am, we omit it. Okay, so she is taller than, what should be there is whether there should be subjective form or objective form. The main thing is that after as or than, after as or than we have to use subjective form. Actually, this is not called subjective form, this is called nominative form. Okay, after than or as we have to use nominative form. So what should be the answer? The answer should be she is taller than I, because after I there is a verb, and we know that before verb we have to use the nominative form. That means in the place of a subject we should use nominative form. Is it clear to you? This is first example of correction related to degree. Our next example of correction related to degree. Example number 2. Rakib is the most brilliant and tall student in the class. Rakib is the most brilliant and tall student in the class. What try to understand whether this sentence is grammatically correct or not, my dear students. My dear students, try to understand whether the sentence is grammatically correct or incorrect. Try to determine, try to take your decision. If you think that the sentence is grammatically incorrect, you are requested to write down the correct answer. Okay? Okay, I'd like to give you the explanation. This is an example of incorrect English sentence. This is an example of incorrect English sentence. This is an example of grammatically incorrect English sentence. Why? Look at why the sentence is incorrect. Look at, I have used superlative degree here. I have used superlative degree. And in order to create a superlative degree, we have to use the superlative form, my dear students. We have to use the superlative form. Okay, we have to use the superlative form of adjective. What is the superlative form of brilliant? The comparative form of brilliant is more brilliant. The superlative form of brilliant is most brilliant. Okay, this is correct, but look at here. Look at here, dear students. Look at here. I have used positive form here. You have to turn it into superlative. And what should be the answer? Rakib is the most brilliant and tallest student in the class. Okay. So if you get two adjectives in superlative degree, you must have to turn the adjective in superlative form. Both the adjective should be turned into superlative form. Okay. So here the positive form needs to be turned into superlative if we want to make the sentence grammatically correct. So what should be the answer? Rakib is the most brilliant and tallest student in the class. Okay. Now another example for you. Another example related to correction on degree. Okay. I prefer reading to write. I prefer reading to write. Look at this. I prefer reading to write. This rule is really important for you. This rule is really important for you. Okay. My dear students, I have a question whether this sentence is grammatically correct or not. Write down. I prefer reading to write. Okay. Write down your answer, my dear students. Okay. My dear students, I'd like to calculate whether the sentence is grammatically correct or not. Okay. Prefer is such a verb. Prefer is such a verb which takes the preposition to. Okay. Prefer, when prefer is used, you have to take the preposition to. So after prefer, what is the appropriate preposition? After prefer, the appropriate preposition is to. Okay. Look at. I prefer read to write. How many mistakes we can categorize in terms of prefer? First option, I prefer read to write. Second option, I prefer reading to write. Third option, I prefer reading than writing. D. I prefer reading to writing. What should be the answer? What should be the answer? What should be the answer? I prefer it to write. I prefer reading to write. I prefer reading than writing. I prefer reading to writing. What should be the answer? What should be the answer? Dear students, some of you have made mistakes here. If you compare between two verb, with prefer, here you have made a comparison between read and write. Both of them are verb in terms of parts of speech. If you compare two verbs with prefer, you must have to put ing with both the verbs. You must have to put ing with both the verbs, okay? You must have to put ing with both the verb, okay? So what should be the answer? I prefer read to write, you have to put ing. That's why the sentence is mistake. It's a great mistake. The second was, I prefer reading to write. Here, you should put ing with write. I prefer reading than writing. Then cannot be used after prefer. And the last example is, I prefer reading to writing. This is important. So, from this tool, we have understood that after prefer, if you get two verbs, in between these two verbs, you should use the preposition to. So, here to should be used. And two verbs, if you get two verbs, and if you get two in the middle of these two verbs, you must have to put ing, okay? So, if you get two verbs, in order to have comparison with the help of prefer, you must have to add ing with both the verb. Is it clear to you? I think it's clear to you. My dear students, this is all about prefer. Another example for you. I feel comparatively better today. I feel comparatively better today. You are the most smartest boy I have ever seen. What do you think? What do you think whether these two sentences are grammatically correct or not? Try to identify. I feel comparatively better today. I have ensured comparison. I have ensured comparison with the word comparatively. That's why I should not use any comparative from here. In this sentence, two comparatives have been used. Double comparative is not allowed in an English sentence. That's why this sentence is grammatically incorrect. And what is the second one? Most smartest. What is the superlative form of smart? The superlative form of smart is the smartest. Okay. That's why most is not needed. So, double comparative or double superlative is not allowed. So, what should be the first correct option? What should be the correct option of the first sentence? You should write, I feel better today, or I feel comparatively well today. Okay. The first sentence should be I feel comparatively well today or I feel better today. And the second one is you are the smartest boy I have ever seen. Okay. I have given you some examples. Of correction related to degree. I don't want to talk about correction related to degree on anymore. I'd like to give you another rule today. I'd like to discuss another rule of correction today. And this is our last rule of discussion. Might as well look at the board. Father insisted me to go. 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 What do you think? Whether the sentence is correct or not? What do you think? Whether the sentence is correct or not? If you think that this sentence is grammatically incorrect, you are requested to write down the correct form of this sentence. Make this sentence grammatically correct. Write your answer in the comment box, my dear students. Write your answer. Okay, thank you. The verb insist. The verb insist maintains a certain grammatical structure. The verb insist maintains a particular grammatical structure, and we have to maintain the same structure in here. Okay. Insist is a verb which maintains a particular grammatical structure. And what is the structure? Look at the board. If you get the verb insist, and after insist you must have to put the preposition on. Look at please. After insist you have to put the preposition on, and after on you have to use possessive form. In after insist, try to memorize the structure of insist. After insist, you have to put the preposition on, then the subject, then the pronoun will be in possessive form, and after possessive form you have to put ing with the verb. So insist, then on, then possessive, then verb plus ing. So what should be the answer? Father insisted, then on, then it should be possessive. My, then the ing with the verb. So what is the answer? Father insisted on my going. Clear? Father insisted on my going. So insist plus on plus possessive plus verb plus ing. This is the structure that we need to follow. My dear students, today I have talked about 4 rules and regulations of correction. Okay. Today I have taught you 4 rules and regulations of correction. This is all for today. In my previous class, I told you that I will usually conduct 1 class each week, and this class will be held on every Sunday, okay, at 11 AM. So I have a class with you according to our routine. I have a class with you on correction on next Sunday at 11 AM. I think you have tried your best during this live class to understand me, to understand the rules of correction. And if you face any problem, write in the comment box. I will try to give you the answer in my next class. So my dear students, thank you for being with me. Your participation in this live class always encourages me, and I'd like to have your more participation in my upcoming lectures. That's why I'd like to bid you goodbye and stay safe and blessed. Waiting for another class to meet you. Till then, goodbye.